Alright, y'all, what's up? This is Rebel on BET Recap Review. Let's start off with a little house cleaning. I'm not really feeling this episode. I don't know why. There's just so much going on, but not really. I'm not sure if I like exactly how the show is moving forward. It's fast-paced, but it seems to leave out a lot of shit because of how fast-paced it is. Like, I'm still wondering what the fuck is going on with Dolores and the terrorist boyfriend that got arrested, and where the fuck did they take off to? Like, why is it so long in between cases or in between episodes that we haven't had any more information about that? Nobody talks about that, whatever. Why are we not seeing a continuous review or investigation going on with Rebel shooting her partner, or what's going on with the police department as far as IAB investigating the officers who did the shooting? It was like they did that one interview, they accused her of a felony, and if it wasn't for her and Jimmy's interaction, the case would be like lost to the water. I would kind of almost forget about it. In addition to the protests, that should be something that's ongoing. It was that one night, and then Pop said everybody go home, and everybody went home, and that was it. Like, what is? It's so much stuff that's not going on, and too much that's happening for one person's life. I'm just not getting it. Okay, but let's go ahead and start off. Started off where it ended last week. Rebel was at the house of April Somerville, and the detective that is on the scene is like, "What the hell you doing here?" Like, every time something happens in this fucking town, Oakland is not a small town. Every time something happens, Rebel is there. And all the officers know who she is, like it's one damn department in Oakland. And everybody know who she is, and they all got an attitude at the fact that she's there because she shot her partner. I guess that's what the attitude is all about. Okay, so I would have questions too. What the fuck are you doing there? Are you stalking Miss Somerville? What the fuck are you doing there? But she basically said that she came there to talk to her. She knocked on her door. It was late at night when she came. Well, when she knocked on the door was open. She walked in, she saw she was dead. Okay. The detective was like, well, maybe you're the one that did it. I mean, that is a possibility. But Rebel was like, if you either you're going to arrest me or you're not, you know, calling a punk card on it. And when Rebel was back at the crib talking to Sheena about it, Rebel said this was not a suicide. I mean, she got shot in the back of the ear. If somebody gonna shoot themselves, they're gonna do it in the temple or in the mouth or whatever, not in the back of the ear. So somebody else had to be a shooter, and she thinking this is like execution style. Okay, so why is Rebel the only officer that's seeing this? That doesn't make sense to me. Is nobody else on this force not trained to understand that that type of shooting would not be considered a suicide? Everybody else is green, and Rebel is the only one with information and knowledge. That just doesn't make sense to me. They kind of pumping her character, her knowledge up, her expertise up too much for me. So I don't know. I'm just not feeling it this episode. It just seemed odd. Everything just seems odd. I got some bad lighting behind me. I don't know. I ain't never seen light come through those curtains. Okay, so while she's there going over that, they're discussing that, or while Sheena's talking to Rebel about it, it was just weird. I don't remember who she got the phone call from. I'm sorry. So a call just came through on my phone. I'm not sure who she got a phone call from. Oh God, I can't remember. Shit. Maybe that's another scene. Anyway, okay, so they go over to TJ, and I guess TJ's getting more of a role here. He's running a little vet center where homeless vets come through, and I guess he's contracted not to do some rehab on the building or what have you. He gets a phone call. Maybe that's who got the phone call. TJ gets the phone call about one of his friends or people that used to stay there named Kim. She's gone missing. Nobody seen from her. Nobody heard from her. It was unlike her. She just took off with all her stuff. Him and Tasha was supposed to be going to look for a house. Tasha's pissed off, like, what the fuck? He's like, you know, something came up. This is something that I got to handle. And Tasha's not understanding. Insane. Next, we see him pop up over at Rebel's house. And I see him going to Rebel because Rebel knew the girl. Like I said, this was what Sheena described her as a runaway, a homeless runaway. And this is somebody that they served in wartime with. Another thing I'm finding strange, being an ex-vet, if you're not in the last place that you served in, or you didn't stay there, it's very rare that you got so many vets that you were actually in combat with in the same city as you. That's very rare. But they seem to. I understand the TJ moved from New York to be with her in Oakland, so he wasn't really there. You know, he just kind of sitting his foot there. But then last episode, TJ was talking about moving. He was talking he was going back to East Coast. How you going back to East Coast and now you finna start this center? You open up this vet center, or you got the center that you're running. It's just not. Things are not gelling for me. I got questions. But yeah, I just find that strange that so many of that serve together. I could understand a lot of vets that you know, or people that was in the military when you was like all my homeboys. I went to the military with like 9 different dudes. Of course, most of us are back in St. Louis, okay, but we didn't serve together in wartime together. All living in the same city. Yeah, all got out around the same time. All different ranks. Because TJ was a master sergeant. And when the dude came in and saluted him, say, "Sir, what the fuck are you saluting a master sergeant for? First of all, why is this civilian saluting this civilian? Well, even if they were just trying to respect the old code of the military. TJ wasn't nobody that somebody to be saluted. He wasn't an officer. Not a master sergeant is not an officer if you didn't know. So why would he be getting a salute? That threw me off too. I know he was Army, I was Marine, but they don't make sense to me. I'm so off topic because this show just didn't do nothing for me. So I guess I'm just filling this shit in. Okay, so basically, TJ, Sheena, and Rebel go on the hunt to go find this young lady. They go down to what I would call a little homeless camp. It's like a little community of homeless people. Every city pretty much has one. We called ours Tent City, which was kind of amazing to me that the guy who they called the judge, who used to be a former judge, he told them to go in Tent City to go look for her because that's where all the new people were coming in were at. Like they tore our Tent City down in St. Louis. Tent City used to be under the bridges downtown. They not only moved them from that location, they put spikes on the ground so they couldn't come back. So then Tent City was moved to another area where we had tents set up for them, sleeping bags, things of that nature, and Tent City got torn down too. Okay, and so then most people was going to this little homeless shelter downtown. The homeless shelter just got shut down 3 days ago, or last week on the 3rd. The homeless shelter got shut down right before the day they were supposed to vote. And so now our homeless people don't have anywhere to go. I don't even think we got a Tent City. We don't have a city for the homeless no more. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of like unique that a lot of places call it all Tent City. So they go find her, and she's in the ground digging. Look like she's trying to dig a foxhole, and she's saying they're out to get her. They're out to get her. They're out to get her. Rebel comes to talk to her, calms her down. They all go back to Sheena's family spot, a little restaurant, and they're talking about what's going on with Kim. Why is she out there bad? She's been working with somebody named Yolanda. Yolanda it was 2 other girls, one named Sherry, one named Nadine. Yolanda threatened to kill them, and then all of a sudden they went missing, and she thinks that Yolanda's trying to kill her too. So TJ thinking this story is far-fetched. He's like, this girl is out there, something ain't right with her in her mind. I don't know why you believe her. Rebel like, I'm gonna go find out what's going on. At the same time, Mack, her former partner, is getting a new partner, a new sister. She's an older lady. Matter of fact, she's a grandma. Evidently, she had some type of dealings with Charles before because she's asking about all the people in the department. How is the team? How's the sergeant? How's the lieutenant? And he was like, you already know about the lieutenant. You used to work with him. She's like, oh yeah, I guess I did. So there's going to be something that's going to come up between her and the lieutenant down the road. The lieutenant wasn't in this episode at all. Charles, he wasn't in this episode at all. They go out on a case together, and somebody got killed. They got a witness that they trying to get him to like turn on the person, the shooter. I believe he saw the information. So this is just basically just showing us their first interaction together, how well they will work together. While he's in there questioning the dude, they offer the chick, she picks up on the fact that it's a girl that's peeping game, trying to figure out what's going on in the situation, and maybe that's somebody she's trying to protect. She's very thorough and vigilant and what she does. She's researched everything top to bottom. So they get the guy to finally say, okay, I'm going to help you as long as you protect her. They put them in the back of the car. It seems so odd to me. If you're protecting somebody, you're going to sit them in the back of an open squad car. And then y'all go have a conversation about going out to go drink and knitting. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's just, yeah, so Max having this whole conversation trying to invite her out to drink. And she's like, I don't drink. He's like, what you do to let steam off? I knit. I'm a grandmama. That's when all that came about. Okay, so a filler. That's all they really trying to build the relationship with her. I like her as an actress though. I kind of wish she would have stayed on Grey's Anatomy as Maggie's mama. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like her in a role as an officer, but hey, she working. Go ahead, girl, get your coins up. So they go back over to TJ, Sheena, and Rebel, and Kim, and they basically find out that where Kim has been making her contact is through this soup kitchen. And so they're gonna go try to find this chick at the soup kitchen named Yolanda. In the meantime, TJ's credit cards are getting declined. I don't know why that was significant for us. Maybe it's going to come up with his financial responsibility, because Rebel mentioned something later on about how when they were together, he couldn't even balance the checkbook. So maybe something financially coming up is with that as well. And so Sheena kind of checks him about his relationship with Rebel. Like, don't hurt my girl again, or we're going to be straight. He telling her, look, I know she's your friend. That's my wife. You stay in your lane until we figure out what we need to do. So, yeah. They go up to the soup kitchen. And like I said, I might be out of order. But they go up to the soup kitchen. There's a young lady named there's a volunteer. And she was saying that there's nobody named Yolanda that works there. Kim used to be there as a volunteer, but she got caught stealing some stuff, so the organization told her she had to go. They go back to Kim and question her about the stealing, and she was like, yeah, I was stealing stuff, but it was out of the lost and found. TJ is still like, why are we helping her? She lying to us. We can't trust nothing she's saying. And Rebel's like, yeah, that's my girl. You know, I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna check into what she's saying. So they make it their business to go and to the bank. In the meantime, Rebel gets a phone call. This is the phone call I thought she got at the beginning. My bad. Rebel gets a phone call. An officer came and says that calls her to the scene. She shows up with TJ. The officer that shot Malik is there on the scene, and Rebel's like, what the hell are you doing here? She tried to rush up on him, and Jimmy steps in. Rebel, what the hell are you doing there? Jimmy and TJ exchanged some words, and this was all just so Rebel can go talk to this officer who's basically giving her crime scene photos on her cell phone. She take the picture back to Kim. Kim said, yes, that's Sherry. She's been dead for a week, apparently. Oh, the Emmy. That was the Emmy. And she said that she's been dead for a week, apparently. Okay, so in this, when they found out about, there was a hit to come up on Sherry's debit card or ATM card. Somebody had used it just 4 days ago. Okay, she's been dead a week, so why the hell is her card being used 4 days ago? So Rebel and TJ decided to go to the bank to find out what's going on with the bank. Pretty much they kind of just scoping out the bank to see who they could use in this bank to get the information they need. The loan officer rolls up and says, hey, I normally make appointments, but we'll try to get you in. Okay. They noticed that they people watching. They noticed the undercover with the gun. They noticed, they thought a couple was messing around, but it wasn't. They said it was gay, it wasn't, whatever. They peeped this couple that they could follow. They followed a couple that both of them supposed to be married. Rebel takes pictures, then she goes back in and uses those pictures to blackmail her to get help. Basically, she wants to see the surveillance video. I don't know, maybe just my thoughts with private investigators, that they wouldn't have trouble getting access to surveillance information. I don't know. If anybody is a private investigator that knows, or a cop that knows, let me know. I didn't think it was that hard for private investigators to access that information. Maybe because Rebel's not a real private investigator. She's freelancing and shit. She's not licensed to be one. Because I thought you had to be licensed in the state or the city to be recognized as a private investigator. I thought so. You had to be licensed. I just learned it on The Good Fight. You had to be licensed for that. You could do detective work, but you still supposed to be licensed to do it. And you're just not automatically licensed just because you was an ex-police officer. So, maybe that's why Rebel can't get in and do the stuff that she needs to do legally. But that's neither here nor there, I guess, right now. So, they go back and they watch the surveillance and they realize that 4 days ago, it was Kim. The same person that they're trying to help. She's the one that's been accessing the ATMs. So, come to find out that Kim is more deeper into this scam than what they really knew. Kim is the connect for whoever this Yolanda lady is to these veterans. Because they were trying to figure out why these veterans trusting this lady, giving them all her personal information. And Kim is making it seem like she's the one who gave up her information. Now the lady's trying to kill her. No, she's the one that's running these people in there to her, setting these people up, and she's going out there making the withdrawals of their disability checks. That's how things been going down. I don't like this episode. Then they go back to, at some point, Rebel is sitting there watching Jimmy again. I don't even remember what Jimmy was doing, but Rebel was watching Jimmy. And Mack just hops into her car. He hops into her car and they have a discussion about, she's like, if you ain't gonna tell me why you shot my brother, you need to get the hell out of my car. And they just go and have an exchange of words, and he gives her this jump drive. And he wants her to watch this jump drive. It's Malik's birthday, and I think this is the time that you should watch it. Okay? Well, she goes and watches the jump drive, and it's Malik rapping, doing poetry, rap poetry. That's what he's doing. As a poet, I didn't like the poem. I didn't like the rap. And then Matt comes in the background, and he's, trying to rhyme with the brother. Okay, this is basically trying to show us that, oh, I'm cool with your brother. But I still shot him now. Rebel already knew that Mack and Malik knew each other. She already knew that they had some type of bond. So this is not new. I guess just seeing her brother there and that element that would make her feel better. But I think it was for her to be comfortable with him. Oh, while they were in the car, though, she did tell him, look, your brother was messing around with April Somerville. He was at her house the day she died, So go question your brother what's going on with that. So Mac does go question Jimmy. Jimmy tells him that they were having an affair. Same thing you were doing with your jungle bunny. And I'm like, okay. They have Jimmy using some of the most racial slurs all the time. And the fact that he does so freely in front of Mac, and Mac doesn't seem the slightest bit uncomfortable. He never checks him on that. What he checks him on is his abrasiveness with him directly, but not necessarily what he says in relation to the racist comments that comes out of his mouth. It's like that's just natural for him, and it's just Jungle Bunny. When the fuck who still uses that fucking term? Okay, but anywho. So I think they're just really trying to make us really hate Jimmy. I think that's what their goal is, because they try to make him use. They pull out some of the oldest racial terms. I'm waiting on him to say African booty scratcher next. So So he goes back to Rebel. Matt goes back to Rebel and says, look, my brother was at home with his wife that night. Him and April was having an affair. And he lets her know that it was April and her partner Rob that said that Malik still had a gun in hand. He told IAB the truth, that he had put the gun down. Something ain't adding up with that whole story and that whole scene to me. Because if you told IAB the truth, I just don't see IAB still trying to press it as if he had a gun. IAB is not necessarily on team cops. They usually out to get cops. So they're just not adding up to me either. Okay, so back to Rebel and her friend. Rebel and her friend, they still don't Rebel's still putting trust in her. They go to the bank again. They talk to the first chick who leads them to the loan officer guy, who he apparently, she said it's supposed to be the teller that's been setting up these accounts. Okay, the loan officer wouldn't be the teller? The loan officer wouldn't be a teller. But a teller wouldn't necessarily be setting up accounts either. But the loan officer wouldn't be setting up bank accounts. A loan officer is there to make loans. You can open an account in a bank. And sometimes a loan officer will play double duty, but they wouldn't necessarily just call a loan officer. All odd to me. Okay, well anyway. If I'm wrong, let me know. But my aunt's a loan officer at a bank. She don't come in and open up bank accounts for people. So all she deals with is loans. I remember applying for a job as a loan officer before. My only duty would have been opening loans, starting new loans. And they mainly focused on real estate, but it was starting new loans. I didn't open up new accounts for people. That's an account. That's account rep. But the fact that she called him a teller, they just mixing jargon together. So I don't know. Maybe that's what is throwing me off about this episode. That a lot of shit just ain't making sense to me. But anywho, so he supposedly contacts this lady that he said he didn't have no way to contact. He contacts her. She shows up at the bank. It's the chick from the soup kitchen. She pulls out a gun on Rebel. TJ first stops him with his hand. She's out. She took off running out the bank. TJ blocks her, stops her way, but she pulls out the gun on Rebel. Rebel was talking to her and telling her, basically talking her down, as an officer would do. She knows she is still a former officer. The security officer is behind her with his gun locked and loaded. And for some reason, the security officer didn't take over the situation. Why he wouldn't take over the situation and let this civilian Rebel stand down and let him handle it, I don't understand. Rebel doesn't have a gun. She hasn't identified herself as an officer. But instead, he's letting her do the negotiations and the talk, while he stands back holding the gun like he's her backup. Didn't make sense at all. That don't make sense at all. No, you can't make that make sense to me. No other officers have been called to the scene. Makes no sense to me at all. Not none. She puts her gun down. The security officer put her in cuffs. End scene. It's just not making no sense to me. None of this episode makes sense to me. TJ breaks up with Tasha. They were out house shopping. He said he doesn't think he's ready to let go of his marriage. Tasha's pissed off. She's walked out the door. Bye, Tasha. She was a horrible actress to me. Sorry. She was a horrible actress anyway. So, bye. Him and Rebel, he tells Rebel that he left Tasha. She seems happy. They go to poetry night. She spits a poem. These poems are by Nikki Sky. Met her via Twitter. I actually like that poem. It wasn't as moving as Allegiance to me, but I still like the poem. Allegiance was dope. The poem in the first episode, that was so dope. TJ comes into her open mic night, and I say he tells her then that him and Tasha are no longer together, and Rebel seems pretty happy about that. If there's anything I missed, drop it down below, because like I said, I was not really feeling this episode though. It wasn't too much shit, didn't add up to me, and I had too many questions. So, and I didn't take notes. Y'all know when I don't take notes at all, it's just not doing shit for me. But that's it. Rebel on BET. See y'all next week on this episode. Shots fired and all the other good shit coming up later on this week. All right, y'all. Peace.